So as you all are acutely aware, or many of you are acutely aware, in August of 2017, there was some discussion initiated about how do we make the readiness divisions be, actually they were not readiness divisions at the time, but how do we morph into a readiness division? How does the Army Reserve take on a greater geographic focus for these four organizations? How do we help support all of the Army Reserve in a slightly different way? Discussions went on for quite some time, and in January of 2018, there was an op order that was published, and it gave the readiness divisions a set of 9 additional tasks. Those being regional family programs, regional yellow ribbons programs, sharp training, the Sergeant E5, Staff Sergeant in promotion boards, medical readiness, regionalized assistance, realignment of some number of units. That also included the stand-up of the Mission Command Support Group, and then build out of a general staff. So there's a G staff that went with each of the Readiness Division headquarters, and that also included readiness teams as a sub-portion there. And then regional equipment maintenance, which is something we already had, as well as facility site commander appointment responsibilities. So these tasks were given out in that operations order, and they have a bit of a change to how we do business. And along with that was also the name change to be a readiness division, to take on that slightly different focus. We also ended up picking up the units that the readiness divisions picked up were some military history detachments, as well as some public affairs units. So all of this meant we needed to have some mission command structure to also have those subordinate elements. So that's how your MCSG came to be. And then along the way, there were, between then and now, there have been a couple of additional fragos that have been published. They've been in draft, they've been rescinded, there have been additional fragos, and so it's an ongoing sort of, as we're working our way through this transformation, how do we do it correctly? How do we get the right staff in place? How do the right responsibilities flow? How do we get the right authorities? Who should be doing which portion of these various different tasks? And that has not been as trivial as some would have liked it to have been. There's a lot of work involved. There's a lot of change that's happening. How do we take on a regional-centric, a community-centric view of families by strictly just sort of, if you're in the unit, your family belongs to that unit? It's not as easy as one would think, because we're trained very much to be sort of hierarchy-focused, and so if you're not mine, I'm not responsible for you. But if you happen to live nearby, you're going to go to the nearest resource that you can get access to try and get your ID card, to try and do all those other kinds of things, your medical care, someplace local. You're not necessarily going to go to where your unit happens to be. So how do we keep that balance between the two? And that's where we're sort of in a state of flux. So the base op order still stands. We still have 9 tasks that we're responsible for, and we have recently picked up an additional one of the Survivor Outreach Services under the DHR. And so we're going to be taking on that responsibility here very soon as that contract comes to an end. There's a lot of training that's going on that front right now, and a lot of activity that's happening to ensure that we take good care of our Gold Star families. That's a no-fail mission. So please help us out if you end up being involved with that at all. That is truly a no-fail mission. So where are we now? What's going to happen next? So we were also working on developing the TDA for the G staff, for the general staff principals and their subordinates. A lot of focus has gone into the military side, which are principally the TPU, the Troop Program Unit individuals, as well as the AGR folks. And that is mostly settled. It's been signed off by General Lucky, and it will go into effect in the near future. And we're also now taking a look at what civilian positions belong in that staff as well. Now, some of you, I know, are very nervous, at least here in the headquarters, about, am I going to have to move to Fort Snelling? Because the 88th has become a split-stationed organization. The answer is no. The answer is, if any of those positions do migrate to Fort Snelling, it's because they should be there, because it makes sense for them to be there, and it's because we transition it at the appropriate time. We have no money to move anybody, so just everyone be calm. It's okay. If it makes sense at some point in the future for you and your position to move, then we'll see if that works. If it makes sense for your replacement to move, great. But keep in mind that the TDA that's being grown now, of all the TPU and the AGRs, not all of those are going to be at Fort Snelling. Some of them will be here also. So this is not going to be sort of a we, they, there's that Snelling crowd, there's the McCoy crowd, and never the two shall meet. I've been jumping back and forth between the two locations. You guys, this headquarters here will see me on VTC frequently, having meetings that way, on the phone, on email. So there's a variety of different ways to make contact besides just in person, and now we're doing Facebook for something new and different. So there's lots of ways to stay in contact. And there's lots of ways to do a split station organization. So no, there's no plan to move anyone, but there may be in the future plans to move positions as appropriate. If someone wants to move and their position makes sense to move and they want to pay for the move, that may be in the realm of the possible as well. I'm not making any promises one way or the other. So everyone should not be concerned on that front. So what next? Well, you got me as a new commander. We've got a new command sergeant major. We've got a new deputy coming in next month, which means unfortunately General Wright is going to be leaving us. He's headed off to command the 98th Division. Good job for him. Congratulations to him on that front. And we're going to have a new DCG coming in to us. She's currently assigned to a unit out in Hawaii. I believe she lives in St. Louis, and we'll be bringing her in here in July. Her name is Patricia Wallace. So she'll be a brigadier when she gets here, so stand by for her to come and join us real soon. She'll be taking over what General Wright has been working on. So we also will be getting a chief of staff here in the headquarters very soon, coming in August. Selection has been made. I believe most of you are tracking Kelly McNeese coming in from the chief of the orders branch at Installation Management Command. He's currently based out of Texas. So again, we're looking forward to his arrival. I know Colonel Parkinson certainly is, so he can give up some of the responsibilities and things he's been working on. Please help him come and integrate in, as well as you all been very gracious with me, and I know you will be with General Wallace and with the new chief when he gets here. I know you've been fabulous with the sergeant major. So what other comments do I have left in here to mention? So the Fragos come, okay, a new Frago 2 allegedly is coming soon. I know you've all here in the headquarters have done a chop on it. It's still being refined down at USARC headquarters. It's not complete yet, but I keep being told it'll be released soon, so stand by for that. Really do appreciate everyone giving their feedback to that Frago, making sure that what you want to be tasked with is what you tell them to task us with. That's a really effective technique. If you want, what order do I want to receive? So you give them that text, so they give it back to you, and then you execute what you wanted them to tell you to do. It's a great idea. Sometimes it doesn't always work out in terms of they'll add other things in, but at least you've done your vigilance in trying to keep it within the realm of what you think is in the possible. We're going to be retaining our military history detachments, the bands, and the public affairs units. As you know, there's going to be a bit of a shift between where some of those are aligned right now, so the MCSG ends up taking responsibility, mission command for all of those elements, and it'll be our primary command, mission command headquarters for all of our down trace elements. That will happen by the fall here as well. So as we take on these 10 tasks, I need to go back and say, but the elements that have been here at Fort McCoy will continue to do those things that they have been doing. Continuing to support the facilities, the equipment, the personnel, the physical security, and all those other aspects that you all do on a day-to-day basis. There's going to be some change, there's going to be some transformation, there's going to be some integration here in the headquarters, but you all will continue to execute a lot of those tasks that you already do, and you do extremely well. So there will be some friction points as we integrate new structure in these 10 tasks we've been given, but I expect that you all will continue to be the exceptional professionals that you have been for the past decade. I don't expect that there's going to be much change. So that's pretty much what I've got to say. I want to thank you all for all the great work that you did over the past couple of years relating to the last Army Communities of Excellence Award. I look forward to this current year as we continue through that process under slightly different business rules. Looking forward to the next one. And as we continue to transform, we will keep you up to date as best possible. I just sent a note to all the directors and G-staff leads moments before I came here. So y'all, it'll be fresh when you get back to your desks and get a chance to read that. I want to thank the outstations for all those who are able to listen in today. And again, thank you once again for all of your hard work out there making us, the 88th Readiness Division, once again, the Army Communities of Excellence winner for 2018. Thank you. Blue Devils.
Thank you, Major General Daniels and Team 88 for making this venue possible today. The 88th Public Affairs Division will post this event online at the conclusion of this event on YouTube. This concludes our live event. And as a reminder, you can expect a survey in the next few days. Look forward to your feedback. 88 out.
Okay, but we are going to let you all ask some questions at this time, but we're going to take off the feed. And yes, I do have 2 microphones. Questions from the audience? This is your opportunity. No way. Come on, you're never this quiet. There's too much energy in this room to be this quiet. Maybe you're just cold. It was only 30-some degrees this morning. Come on, it's June. Yes?
How will Mission Command work with the other flag commands that are within the 19th state?
So we will not take over any mission command of any other functional entity that's out there right now. That was all rescinded as a part of the op order change. So we're just back to those 9+1 tasks that came out in the base order. Now we are supposed to take lead in orchestrating a number of events that help them achieve readiness. So how do we help out with the medical? How do we help out with some of these other activities? But that's still, the G-staff isn't up. There's not enough people that can do a lot of those things right now. The readiness team, we've got one that's in place. They can help go out and work with units as they get ready to deploy. But we don't have a lot of resources just yet that can help. But we're not taking mission command of anything other than those things we already have. That was a good question. I should have brought that up before. Going once.
Having said that, ma'am, I'm assuming that we just continue with what we've been doing in the past, like support those units from the functional command.
Absolutely. So the question is, do we continue what we've been doing? Absolutely. So there's no change to, how you prioritize, for Ready Force X in terms of maintenance, how you prioritize as requests come in through the RPACs, how you prioritize orders cutting, all those things continue as you have been doing. That does not change. No one from this side of the room. No one from the way back in the room that I can't really even see except for outlines. All right. Have a great rest of the day.